All right, and we're live. Um, no bubbles. We're gonna go straight into the show in three, two, one.
It's simple.
Thank you everybody for tuning in for Reasonable Wrestling. Before we get started, we're going to have a moment of silence in memory of Jay Briscoe. May you rest in peace. May your family and your friends and your loved ones forever remember your name, and may all of the things that you accomplish in this business be something that uplifts uplifts your name, man. Um, Gone too soon, Jay Briscoe, 38 years old.
Rest in peace.
And I guess we can kind of start the show there. Forgive us, we won't be forever somber in this episode. But we would be remiss if we did not start the podcast off spending moments just reflecting on the career, the impact, the influence, um, just who Jay Briscoe was to the business. Um, Tragedy struck us Tuesday evening, where the wrestling world in our bubble, right? Me and you were on the phone just talking about, and now it's crazy. I'm listening to the Lebertar show, and they saying like things like the algorithm and the echo chamber that we create, um, it doesn't necessarily allow us to have perspective outside of what's going on. And so in our little wrestling bubble, Jay Briscoe passed away. Unfortunately, a head-on collision. Um, he was taking his little girl or picking his little girl up from cheerleading practice. Just regular rigmarole, regular day, everyday stuff, possibly, you know. But we know of Jay Briscoe of one half of the Briscoe brothers, one half of the greatest tag team of this generation, one of the greatest Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champions of all. Like, um, who Jay Briscoe was to the business and what he did for the business, him and his brother, but him specifically, he was the very first Ring of Honor match at the very first Ring of Honor show against his, like, he is Ring of Honor, man. And so that was just that was a gut punch at the beginning of the week to hear that. So I was speaking too long. Go ahead and give me your thoughts on the occasions, man.
First and foremost, prayers for his family. There is a word that he was, like you said, driving with his two young daughters in the back seat. They were buckled. He was unbuckled, and they're still in critical condition. So I'm praying for them and their recovery. And beyond that, to lose a parent, just prayers for them and their livelihood and going forward. I think this is a reminder to all that life can be short. None of this is guaranteed, and that we should take every moment. We shouldn't take any moment for granted. Like Jay Briscoe and Mark Briscoe are literally the current ROH Tag Team Champions. They have created a legacy in tag team wrestling that will be long lasting forever. And there was we didn't see this coming. We didn't see, like, after the year they had of, like, man, I was talking about, what if they get signed to NXT? What if they do more? All those things that none of that matters anymore because these are human beings who, you know, their legacy lasted in wrestling first, but outside of that, their parent, that's a brother. That's a brother. That's a husband. That's a father.
Speaking of brother, Mark birthday was
My birthday
yesterday.
was the day after that. It was yesterday, Wednesday, the day
Because
after. So
like Jay passed Tuesday, his brother birthday is like and again these are the things like you try not to get yourself down or you try to but this is our escape, right? This is our from the world of what we try not to, right? Sports and wrestling and things of that nature. And of course sometimes it bleeds into
real
real
life.
life, to where you can't escape the escape. You know what I mean? Like there is no hiding from life, unfortunately. And wherever you find your solace, wherever you find your peace, wherever you find your happiness, wherever you find your joy, um, that's just where it's gonna be. You know what I mean? Because unfortunately, like there isn't a there isn't hideaway. You know what I mean? And this was a real. I mean, because uh, AEW has a show Wednesday, right? So the on the flyness to kind of have to honor, right? No pun intended, and give reverence and show grief and all those things, and then it's stuff that we again. It's almost like football, right? When you see DeMar Hamlin on the field, you're like, okay, let's just get the thumbs up, right? We just need the thumbs up and we can go on about it because we've seen it so much. Like we've seen plenty of wrestling tribute shows to unfallen soldiers. But again, like this was just so um again, death is instant, you know what I mean? But this was instant, you know what I mean? Like this was just like a stop in everything. Um and again,
I
like I
can't
said,
believe it.
yeah,
When it happened, I couldn't believe it. It's a gut punch, and to say the least, for I think the whole wrestling industry. And the funny thing about it is that this guy's entire career is in Ring of Honor. And people are like, oh, but his legacy lasts well beyond that. Like it's gonna be so much grander, and that goes to show the talent of him and his, just his talent alone to just his people in WWE are tweeting about him, and people across the wrestling atmosphere is tweeting
Big
about him
E said he
because
stole. Big E said flat out, like, yeah, we borrow shit for them. Seth Rollins is like, yo, if he doesn't help Tyler Black, there is no Seth Rollins. Like
yeah.
Sami Zayn is like the list of quote unquote superstars and bigger than life personalities. Jay was one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I was so excited to see him on like national TV eventually one day, because I'm like, yo, he has that it factor to him, and we will never see that. Not that it matters at this point, but you don't expect. My point is that we don't expect these things to happen, and in wrestling, we lose these people every year, and just and it's just like boom, they're gone.
It's
Like
almost it's like music too, right?
yeah,
Nipsey was kind of right. You don't know, like you know of his impact. You know what he's about. You know that he's real, and everybody that has contact with him just has high praise of him. And
mhm.
but when he passes,
The
right?
extent
I
of his influence is like
oh my,
felt
like you
like
and you're
it,
like, bro, you're on the rise. Your album is Grammy nominated. Bro, the same thing, bro. He just had a trilogy match for FTR. He's on the grandest stage.
rise,
Like
yeah.
he's on the Briscoes is never
Tag team
as
matches of the year
right.
matches.
The 20 years in the game. He's never as hot as the Briscoes is right now. You know what I mean? Like everything that, like you say, what is it for, right? The things that he's trying to do for his family, for his daughters, for his wife, for his legacy, for his farm, for his mom, his pops, like all of that. That 20 years was like, yeah, we about to get
Mhm.
to it, and it's
And in an
gone.
instant, it could be gone. That's why, like the message for me is really to live your life to the fullest, because life, it's hard in these moments to remind ourselves that life, is for the living, and that dude lived. So like if anything, Jay Brooks showed us the way. Like, listen, if it took him 20 years to get to his pinnacle of his height, we shouldn't be beating ourselves up. You should just get to work every day and put that work in forever, whatever passion is that you have. And I think that's what I take from is that the guy lived in his purpose. He lived in his passion, and he accomplished a lot. And although he didn't make it to the big stage or whatever it is, his legacy still means something for that to people that you may be seeing on the big stage. If that what so, Tyler Black, there's no Tyler Black without Jay Briscoe. So think about that, you know. So even though you may not be the one, you have influenced so many people, you know, along your path in life and journey. And I just want to honor Jay Briscoe for and thank you for your commitment to the art form of professional wrestling and the entertainment you provided all of us. And I know that we will here on Reba Wrestling forever remember you. And I mean, you ended on a bang. 2022 was no joke. You had banger after banger after banger, and this is not a cliche. You killed it last year, and there's a way to go out, man. You did that shit. So, and I know it's unexpected, but prayers for you and your family, and I pray that Mark Briscoe is also doing okay during this time to lose his brother. So, I mean, that's all I can say about it. It's heartbreaking.
It is, man, and I would like to say there is no easy segue from what it is that we've talked about to kind of go on what it is that we talk about. But
Yeah,
let's kind of go into it. Like if I weren't on Twitter, I would have found out via NXT. So I do want to shout out to the producers and the agents and the TV guys who was responsible to making sure that the wrestling world, the wrestling family, was able to get that news. And it was a real again. WWE did it again when TNA Don West, if I'm not mistaken, that's his name. When he passed away, you know what I'm saying? How he made an
it's very
impact.
classy of them to
And
acknowledge these guys who are not necessarily ever worked for their company, but have contributed to the art form that we love. You know,
and I think that's the ever. I think that is where the space we need to reside in. As far as I respect you. You know what I'm saying? Like there seems to be a lack of humility and respect when it comes to like if you don't do what I do or came for I came from or work where I worked or did what I did. Like I mean it is I was in the military, so it goes even that way. Like you know what I'm saying? Like are you in the army, are you in the Navy, are you in the Air Force, are you in the Marines? Like we have our but again, if there is a fallen one amongst us, you know, we go to war for that. You know what I mean? We stand up for that. We you know what I mean? I think in wrestling, um, we need to see more of that camaraderie when it's not so much based around tragedy. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, you know, it's almost like family shit, right? Nobody kind of really link up and get together or some shit like that unless Big Mom's sick or we gotta go to a funeral or some shit
yeah,
like that. You know
we
what I
gotta
mean? Like,
celebrate our victories a lot more and out loud. And you know, I see a little bit of that. You know, when I see Sasha go to New Japan, and I see everybody saying "good job," you know, people flying out there to see her. And people in different companies saying that's a big deal. Whatever Sammy goes was doing, you know, people are commenting that who are not even in WWE about how good he's been doing over the past year. I've had seen Solo Sikoa give praise to Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks gave praise to Solo Sikoa, but back and forth. And mind you, that's like I'm like I didn't even know these guys knew each other existed, but to see that out front out loud say, yo, that guy's doing some good shit and to give praise. So I see the evolution in the business doing that, celebrating the victories and not hating, you know, just because
but
the
I,
ain't
I
hurt.
love that. I love that. I like in sports. I hate when it's a motherfucker. I put my head down. I don't pay attention to everything. Yes, you do. Like you know what I mean? Like they're like I don't pay attention to nothing with nobody. I love when I hear niggas be like, "Yo, if I'm not playing the game, I'm watching the game." Like I love when I hear KD say that because like you're not. We're human. You love this shit. You not just a part of it. Like you got into it because you love watching it. You love the stories that tell. You love the movie. Like
I
so.
do think I mean, let's just say there are people who they just put their head down and focus on themselves, and that's how they because they're and because I'm kind of built that way. Like I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, like you know, but I pod and I focus on making this pod better and making my shit the best, you know. But there are a few podcasts that I will listen to, and they'll get my attention. And but so when you're so I don't hate those players or those wrestlers who don't pay attention to everything else. But when you do see like success, which we do also do on this pod, of other podcasts doing some things, we give praise to it. So I'm not, I'm not opposed to also putting your head down and grinding too, because I think there is a way to like tune out the noise and focus on
But
you.
I think
And
it's
still be
true.
respectful.
I think it's true indeed, but I do believe is under disingenuous because again, you may not listen to other podcasts, but we are influenced by
Of course.
other podcasts, whether they're wrestling podcasts or not. So again,
Yeah.
it may be like, yo, I don't know if Roman Reigns may not fuck with MJF for AEW, but shit, he might watch Stardom. I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? Like I have no idea if the bit because again, it's the business of like
I wonder, does Roman Reigns watch wrestling outside of wrestling? And I think when you get to that top space, like, do you like does LeBron James like just watch
yes, yeah.
basketball constantly?
The
I mean, I think it's
LeBron, KD, Steph, they watch the game because again, like if you are also on that level,
yeah, I think LeBron does. I think it's that type of person you are. Put it this way, because
because
I think
it's also not influence, right? It's also not. I'm trying to get. It's not influence. I'm trying to. It's also like let me see what's going on around me because that impacts. I know I'm doing what I'm doing. But again, if I can always keep a pulse on what's going on, but that's how you always are able to stay one step ahead and not have to play catch up. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I
yeah.
think that
I think it's
plays some part of
necessary.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think that goes back to the Jay part, the Jay Briscoe part, to tie it all together. Those who and Don West, right? Those who are students of the game or those who are within the game know where the influence lie, right? A lot of people talk about AR Fox, right? AR Fox is not highly spoke about, but those who know
no, no,
know that
yeah,
that guy, Amazing Red. Listen, Mikey Whipwreck, my nigga. Like shout out to Mikey, another Buffalo kid. Like Mikey Whipwreck was Amazing Red's trainer, so everything that you got from Amazing Red was Mikey Whipwreck training the nigga. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's shit like that.
There's
That like you know what I mean? That and if you are and again if Jay was here, right? Jay is here when niggas speak of Jay, they know. You know what I mean? Like the influence of because again, Ring of Honor was a whole ethos. You know what I mean? Like it was a whole like the Ring of Honor, the whole thing. You got to think about like when you tell a story of who influenced the independent circuit and who influenced the who's who of wrestling. We're talking about again Tyler Black, aka Seth Rollins, American Dragon, Brian Danielson, Samoa Joe. We're talking about Davey Richards. We're talking the who's who of wrestling. Nigel McGuinness, the very first match of the very first show is Jay fucking Briscoe. Like he's historic. You know
he
what I
is.
mean? He's fucking historic. You know what I
There's
mean?
nothing
So
else you can say about it. He's the
man,
man. Like honestly, super talented. And what I think about him and legacy he leaves, and his brother as well, they're just real. Real dudes. It
real.
feels like real dudes. Just who they weren't sellouts to ROH. They stick with them. Even when they had opportunities to leave, they did what's best for them and their family. Seemed like they were family men. And they got their bread and did their job. And whenever they did their job, they did it very fucking well. So shout out to the Briscoes and rest in peace, Jay. And just thank you for the memories, for real, because man, and I'm seeing like and the fact that they can mention y'all on other platforms and show the respect. I'm proud of the wrestling industry for taking that leap and being more mature about these things in a sense and not ignoring it just because they're part of a different company. With Vince, I'm not sure if it's a Vincent thing, but he wouldn't allow certain things to be talked about, but every now and then he'll mention, oh yeah, somebody who used to work here passed away, show the screen in the beginning, and then move on with it. But we're actually hearing announcers say, hey, rest in peace, and mentioning these people, their legacy. So that's a huge to people who may not know, So
You
informing wrestling fans who are maybe not as deep into this.
we're also talking about excuse me, NXT, where Triple H, Paul Levesque, Shawn Michaels, William Regal, right? They're heavily influenced in that scouting game, right? Again, the sports analogy,
I mean,
where
they're wrestlers too. They're former wrestlers, actually, people
exactly,
who lived it. So I think
exactly,
they have a different kind of
exactly.
look at it. So yeah,
And they've seen how other companies responded to Scott and everything like that. That like those who, again, boys who have been around, and again, Jay hasn't been around, right? Jay has been a Ring of Honor guy, but the fact that his impact is influential throughout and resounding throughout is very impactful.
it's so
Um,
crazy because like
and
it's like
performer he was.
I've been known that the just Briscoes are impactful because I've been known that, but to the extent you find out now, it's huge. But what's cool is that like you don't need lights, camera action to be impactful in your lifetime. Like think about that. You can do that wherever you are, whatever profession that you love to do. You put your heart and soul into it, and you grind it out, and you do right by people and do right by your family. And you never know who will be talking to you, talking about you, how when you're gone. You have no idea who, you know, you influenced and the greatness that people say, oh, this person is on TV, so they're so great, and I want to be just like them. And they're like, wait, I want to be just like that person who's, not as huge as me, or I wouldn't be this person without, learning from these people. And it's like, man, it just kind of, makes me think like we don't need to chase the bag all the time. We don't need to chase the fame, the likes, all that stuff, because to still live a fulfilling life. And
And also to know that you don't have to go where you compromise,
yeah, you don't gotta
right?
compromise. Yeah, but just do right by the people you care about and love, and work hard. And these guys did that. They're them boys. I mean, it's gonna be hard every year when it comes to Mark's birthday because that's the day after his brother. Like and I just that kills me. That like hurts my heart to think that no birthday will ever be the same again. But I hope that he can use this time to reflect and always um bring power to the name that the Briscoes as a tag team leave, and also, carry that legacy forward if he so chooses. But first and foremost, I pray for his family to recover.
Um, with that being said, we kind of touched on a little bit about Tuesday and Wednesday nights programming. I guess we can kind of tap into that a little bit. Tuesday's programming, yeah, you already know. I have better shit to do on Tuesdays than to clearly. I was on Twitter.
Fuck.
But what do you want to talk about NXT? Like, tell me what are we supposed to? Let's pivot. Let's have some fun now. Let's pivot. What about NXT am I supposed to be watching?
I don't know, man.
All right. So good. So
I,
what we gonna do?
I,
We gonna go move along. Okay, so we got.
you said you want to talk NXT, not me. I was like,
No, I
I'm just
mean,
saying
I'm
it's
just saying.
it's.
What I'm saying is like okay.
Yo,
Tuesday
did
night.
is
Tuesday
Braun
night.
Breaker still champion?
Huh?
Braun Breaker still champion?
Yeah, he wrestled Grayson Waller, and I can tell you right now, that shit ain't moving a nan needle for me, nigga. That's a used dried up needle on the ground. That shit, I don't even kick that needle. That needle don't get moved. No way, no how for me, brother. You know what I'm saying? I step over that needle. You know what I mean? That needle is broke.
Is
You
it
dig?
is it, is it Grayson Waller? You're not interested in him?
I mean, listen, they've had so many times over to make me care about Grayson Waller. I don't. I don't. I don't. It's not nothing about him that is groovy. You know what I'm saying? Braun Breaker also being like stereotypical meathead type, you know, guy, jocular. You know what I'm saying? I'll out tough you. I'll outwork you. Like he's the Dan Campbell of champions. You know what I mean? If Dan Campbell, the coach of the Detroit Lions, I'm gonna eat your kneecaps. I'm gonna eat your. If that was a WWE champion, it would be Brian Breaker. You know,
Braun Breaker is super talented. I think he
I
needs
didn't
some more
hold on.
depth.
I didn't say
I
that.
know, I know, I know, I know you
Really
didn't say.
talented.
I'm not saying that you said that. I'm just making my own comments outside of what you just said. I'm just saying he's super talented. I just think he needs some more depth and he needs an opponent. Like I've been saying for a long time. You didn't like the UK guys. They tried Apollo. They fucked it up, kind of, and now they got also, I mean, Grayson Waller. I honestly believe they gotta just get to Carmelo Hayes, and I think they might be waiting for WrestleMania time to crown him as the official NXT champion if they're not calling him up. But I think Carmelo Hayes as NXT champion will bring us to the show, and not just because he's black, just because he's talented. And I think the match itself, with him and Braun Breaker, it's a good matchup. Like that's an actually good matchup. So it's entertainment. I'm looking for. Um, and it's just tough right now for NXT 2.0. It just really is, or NXT, whatever you want to call it, But it's black and yellow, but it's not quite the same. It used to be wet. I need a jolt of like adrenaline on that show, and I don't know how we get there. There's no more cruiserweight championship. We have the tag division, which is kind of stagnated with New Day holding the belts, and don't know. We've seen the act of the New Day before a billion times, so maybe New Day and Creed brothers would be dope. I like to see that. If they can have a really good match, I would like to see that. Maybe they
But
need a heel turn.
they diminished the Creed brothers, right? Creed brothers lose to Pretty Deadly, only for Pretty Deadly to not have no fangs now. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like you put Lash Legend with them, which I think was great. Now she's not with like I thought they were
Yeah,
building something with Pretty Deadly to be a
Pretty Deadly and
steadfast.
New Day would have been a good good angle going forward. But now it looks like I don't know what they're doing.
They have Brinson and Briggs, and now they got Gallus back. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't
Briggs and
Creed
Jensen need to
again.
turn heel.
Again, I think Creed brothers
Yeah,
need to be called up.
Veer,
I
and
think
my
they need
guy
to be.
Sangha.
I think they need to be called up. Honestly,
Veer and Sangha, I like them. And then Jinder came down, to help them out. I like the act that they're putting together with those guys, but I do believe that New Day they gotta drop those titles before WrestleMania, right? They can't I mean, I don't know. I'm confused.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Tuesdays, brother, is man, and I can tell you right now, Monday wasn't a bad show, but I can tell you what I was watching on Monday, baby. Yes, sir. We got that old ass nigga up out of here. We had some curry goat out that motherfucking nigga. We had some motherfucking seasoned up curry goat, nigga. We cooked that goat and put some motherfucking rice and peas on that nigga, and we ate that. So I ain't gonna hold you. Monday and Tuesday. But
I
now,
mean, you cooked the goat, but that shit wasn't kicking.
hey, listen, you gotta kill him before you eat him. You know what I'm saying? So we had to go ahead and put
Nah,
him on his
your
misery.
kicker was not kicking, literally. Your kicker literally can't get no field goals. But hey, you
Listen,
got survived.
I'm gonna tell you right now, man. To 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 be up, it was 24-6. And I'm like, nigga, it's supposed to be 28-6. Like, you know what I mean? Like to be 24-6, nigga, Tom can
And
score.
Tom
That's
Brady
twenty-four
getting the ball.
thirteen.
Yeah, exactly.
Quick,
We've seen it before. We've seen it,
nigga. Quick.
So, yeah. But
So
yeah, congrats to the
I
Cowboys.
was very much in tune on Monday, nigga. So please fill me in. Tuesday was a dud. Monday was
This was not the week, I guess. Listen, I got nothing to say. listen, listen. From what I know, Bobby Lashley is going to be facing Austin Theory for the United States Championship from Monday. I know Uncle Howdy came out to disturb Alexa, to help Alexa with the Bianca Belair.
Correct.
Y'all
Correct.
know how I feel about Uncle Howdy right now. I'm waiting to see this thing pan out and give it. I don't know what the fuck is going on, dog. Like I'm so confused, man. Like I'm so confused with a lot of this shit, and I just want WrestleMania. I want the Royal Rumble to come and just move shit along. I'm done. I'm kind of like this holding pattern that we're in is it's taking a long time, which we knew was going to happen, but the energy we're wrestling over the past weeks has not been great, especially with Vince coming back and then people passing away and then the show's not hitting quite the way I want them to hit. I've been like really feeling like
Now I
it's
want to
been
have.
mid.
I want to. Oh, hold on. I want to have a real conversation. Now,
Let's do it.
the shows haven't been bad. Okay.
They've been mid. They haven't been bad.
Well, okay. Now, what's mid? You talking about not inspiring because they're progressing storylines. I mean, we're not
Yeah,
stagnant.
that's the bare minimum to progress a storyline. Like I'm not saying if
The
they didn't,
matches,
that'll be bad.
the matches are good, right?
Matches are good. Matches are good, but there's
Okay.
no like excitement right now for like usually I want like one angle where I'm like I have to see that. I had to see that. Like a couple weeks ago when they had KO show up, and then we had that was a couple months ago actually. KO showed up on SmackDown. They had John Cena. We had to look forward to that on SmackDown. On Raw, we had the whole thing with the United States Championship situation was actually entertaining, and I came for that. It's a thing where
Gunther and Sheamus. I mean, Gunther
Gunther,
and
yeah, Gunther and Braun was a really good match. Probably Braun's best match ever. Like that was great. Braun's
so
been really improving me, like
so
impressing me this past since he came back.
so I want to press on. I want to press on that. You mentioned all of the things that are good. You mentioned all the things that are progressive. You mentioned all the things that are moving along. And you also know that Rumble season, right? We also knew that there was going to be a very long time between Survivor Series to the Rumble. They've done a really decent job maintaining. And I know you said that's the bare minimum, but I mean that was one of the complaints. They wasn't giving us anything that was bare minimum, right? I think there are
No, and that's why I'm not mad.
there
I just feel like
there
I'm waiting.
okay, they're in Kirk Cousins stage, right? And I understand that that can be terrible, right? But
It's not terrible to me. Like I'm not saying I'm not here to kill the shows. This is not me 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I feel like this mid. It's not like captivating, and it's not like their fault only. It's also me. I've been busy, and I think that the energy of wrestling over the past couple of weeks with certain passings and certain things going on with the business side of things, the news breaking. It's like there's like a cloud looming over, and and when we had just like the whole thing of like you know you
if
know
okay, so if Vince doesn't come back, if Jay Briscoe doesn't pass, wrestling is slapping. Like honestly, like we're in a like it's January 19th. January 4th was just Wrestle Kingdom, right? We just talking about Mercedes Moné going to New Japan.
I'm
The
not saying that. I mean, talking about this week. When I'm talking about, like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, yeah, like I have no problem with where the state of wrestling as a whole. But this week is I'm waiting for Royal Rumble. Like I'm already now next week. Obviously, on Raw they announced that we're going to get the
We got Raw Triple X,
Triple
baby.
X. Yes,
We got Raw XXX, baby.
whatever. I mean, is that the 30th anniversary?
Yeah.
All right, 30th anniversary. Raw
30
Triple.
or Raw 30, something like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's not the 30th anniversary, is it?
Man, or it might be Raw with a couple Sarah J's, and you know what I'm saying? Jada Fires. We never know.
We do know that ain't gonna happen. I say we ain't going there, but apparently the whole lineage of the bloodline will be showing up to Raw next week to for a I guess they call it a ceremony of acknowledgement or to acknowledge the tribal chief or um
Why wouldn't you want to acknowledge the tribal chief, brother?
I'm curious because this is happening right before Royal Rumble where Roman Reigns is set to face Kevin Owens. There's rumors, oh, The Rock might come. I don't think The Rock's going to be there. I think people are going to be disappointed, and I think that this is an opportunity to get more intrigue towards the Royal Rumble match with Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens might appear, cause some craziness to happen, and that make Roman Reigns and this Kevin Owens match more must see, I guess. And I think that that's what's going to happen here. I think that it does bring some intrigue to the show. It does sell the show. It is on Monday Night Football as well, so it's going to be competing with that regardless. So I don't think that they're going to do that with The Rock right now. And The Rock might come, if he even comes for WrestleMania, it will be afterwards, after Royal Rumble. So I think, unfortunately, I don't think the rumors are going to pan out of The Rock showing up. Although when I first heard it, I did feel like, oh shit, is The Rock gonna come? But then I thought about it. I looked at the dates. I was like, oh, I thought if it was like the day right after the Royal or the week after the Royal Rumble, I would have been more excited for see if The Rock will show up. But I don't see that happening here.
I mean, I'm not. I'm never going to think that The Rock's going to show up to the Royal Rumble. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he did it for Roman at one time, but that
This
was
is not even the Royal Rumble. This is for Raw before the Royal Rumble.
no.
Yeah, that's what people are saying. Yeah,
No, absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? No. Why would he? You know what I'm saying? Like that makes no that. But what I care about is what I wanted to talk to you about on the phone. That we wanted to get to the pod is like with wrestling and quote unquote our lack of suspension of disbelief, right? Do you want a good storytelling of like per se Cody coming back, or do you want niggas to be like, yeah, Cody? Like, do you want Cody Royal Rumble or do you want Cody WrestleMania? Like, how do as a wrestling fan, how do like shit that you know is gonna happen, but like,
okay, I think the question you're asking me is because since they've been doing Cody Rhodes promos leading up to the Royal Rumble, and now it's officially announced that Cody will be showing up at the Royal Rumble. How would I have booked this return? Right? Is that it?
yeah, I mean, how would you have booked the return, and how do you feel as a wrestling fan when you like, okay, don't insult, like you already say, don't piss on me and tell me it's raining, right? So they're like, okay, nigga, like Cody coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, or when you like Seth Rollins needs to have an opponent, you need to tell me what Seth Rollins deserves it. I'm like, bro, they're gonna have Cody and Seth. Like, well, just tell me already. Okay, so how do you want it? Do you want them to tell you already, or do you want them to draw it out for what they did? Because I think
I wouldn't have mentioned. I would have kept it a secret completely, like they did with Cody last year. I would have just had him show up at the fucking Royal Rumble. I wouldn't have mentioned his name. I wouldn't have done any packages. I would have just had the 27th pick, 27th, or 30th, or 28th, 29th, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you hear the Cody Rhodes theme music and that building in San Antonio erupts. Get that pop. Get that. It's gonna happen still, but it kind of is not like gonna be
but
that like.
the reason why I asked that is because okay, we're in a holding pattern, right? A lot of people believe that Raw is hamstrung by not having a strong presence, and the strong presence we believe would have been Cody, right? Because again, you look at Raw roster, everybody's had their fucking chance. Everybody's had a run. So again, like we can't complain about oh they are and they're always doing this and they'll have no rubber.
But who's complaining?
I mean,
is there a sentiment that like they fucked up this Cody thing?
It's a sentiment that again, when you're saying Raw is not just you, but you're not the echo of it. But again, it's like, we're waiting for something. You know what I'm saying?
I'm waiting for a Royal Rumble. Like I already told y'all, I know it's going. I know it's going to kick back up. So I'm not like mad about what they've done. You got to do something each week and put on a show, and they're doing it, and they're not bad shows. Like,
well, so, I think also too, like the fatigue of like Roman, right? The right. You like I've been saying we need to split up titles. We need to have one title. We need to do whatever. It's like okay, we ain't gonna have one title because we got two shows. But what we'll do is we'll split the title. I think that the fatigue of the bloodline, because the bloodline is
I'll tell you
like
right
a
now what it
SmackDown
is. The problem with Raw.
exclusively.
It's not Roman. It's not the fact there's no two titles. It's the fact that you've had Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, and Bobby Lashley be in this freaking mix of the United States Championship for the past like 4 or 5 months. So that's going to make it stagnated. Because if we know that we're going to get Bobby and Austin Theory again, something has to be different about this dynamic. Is he turning heel? Is the Hurt Business coming back together? Like those things will make the show more impactful because the dynamic you've had with the United States Championship has been the same. So that's the thing. We had him cash in on the United States Championship, lose it. Finally, gets a match with Seth. He sneaks out with Seth and Bobby, sneaks out with the victory. He becomes United States champion. Boom. You got now, actually, Seth actually won that match. Then later on, he faced Seth, got the victory, and won the championship. It's a thing where we're going in circles with this. So in my opinion, it's not that we need two titles, not that we need Cody on the show. It's that you need to just make sure that this United States Championship constantly has those challengers and a storyline that grabs people. Bobby was gone for a bit. You had Seth and Austin Theory holding down the fort, and you kind of could easily push somebody else into that spot. Shelton Benjamin been with the company for 20 years. He could have easily been a contender for United States Championship by this point. But, even if you sparked him up and put him in that spot, you got Mustafa Ali. I know you guys kind of use him as a jobber now, but he could be a legitimate contender if you guys book it, so that he's next in line after the Bobbies and the Seths. I understand you guys are looking at it more like a main title on Raw, which I like and appreciate. But if you keep on putting the same three guys in this scenario, you got to tell a good storyline with it that has substance to it. So, and it's not been bad because the promos have been really good with all these guys. But now after Seth and Austin seems to have settled down after he beat him, I think that now throwing Bobby back at him is like, okay, we're doing the same thing again.
Well, a lot of people think Seth was hurt from jump when he lost to Cody, a one-arm Cody, kind of connecting the two. A lot of people think that Seth lost a lot of steam. No,
he was not hurt by that at all.
Why wasn't he?
Seth was one of Seth. The reason why Seth wasn't hurt because he was one of the most entertaining wrestlers all 2022. Arguably, if you go look on Sports Illustrated, #1 wrestler of the year, Seth Rollins. When I look at it from that standpoint, he got over the entire time. His music, every angle he did after that worked. Everything he did with freaking who was it? Who was I'm sorry,
Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle, exactly. Matt Riddle, was good.
But that's okay. That's the thing. So Seth loses. Okay, the trajectory of Seth loses Rumble match to Roman. Character driven. And then we got Mania. That's April. So from January to April, Seth is building the character of Seth freaking Rollins. From April to Hell in a Cell, when it's him and Cody, they have the trilogy of matches: the WrestleMania, Backlash, Hell in a Cell. That feud with Riddle cooled him off to me. Now, granted, it was good, but we didn't get that SummerSlam match, so he was left off SummerSlam, right? He waited to have that big match. We had to
wait.
But
then Bobby, with him and Bobby, that was pretty cool. And Bobby destroying him, and that's
what I'm saying. Okay,
and then he's had great matches the entire way.
No,
I know what you're saying, bro.
Arguing, Seth.
I'm not saying that's what you're arguing. I'm just making a point that he's had good matches. The fans love him. How is he cooled down? I just wanted to ask that question. Like, how is he cooled down? Like, I don't get if he's the top heel and then boom moves over in his top face on Raw. Like, I don't get how he cooled down.
I get it. Okay, so that's the point. He's the top heel, the top baby, and you just said that you're tired of the storylines that he's been involved in with the same guys, and it's not been 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Okay. Are you entertained with Seth Rollins right now with what he's doing? Yes or no?
right now, Seth Rollins, I mean, every up until this week, like I'm telling you, this week I have been, yes. But this week he was in a gauntlet match and he didn't win. But you talking about Raw as a whole, right now it looks like it's stagnating because Bobby Austin Theory, all right, not 4 months, 3 months, whatever you want to say. It's been the same thing, since November about these guys. So, and it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but I do
I
believe
think
that
it's
when you have characters and doing the same things week to week without a huge drastic character shift, and we're just the same people in the same matches, even though it may be really good matches, the energy of the show feels like they're losing the show a little bit. You
but
feel me?
this is how I say he's cooled down. Seth Rollins became United States champion. When this is why I'm saying, okay, this is why I bring the point up and trying to figure out that when Bobby is the United States champion, he's going on a run. He's a baby. He's on a trajectory. We're like, hey, Bobby needs to lose his title and go over the Roman, right? He loses to Seth. Seth is then in a thing with Austin Theory. We say Austin Theory has the dumbest cash in ever. I'm trying to make sense of it. You like, nah, nigga, that's stupid, right? So instantly, if something that stupid is involved with something that hot, Seth doesn't elevate that. It gets brought down. That's just my math, right? Seth doesn't elevate that. That he gets brought down. Since that cash in with Austin Theory, the triple threat was a great match on Survivor Series. I'm not arguing that. They run it back and have another great match. He just wasn't a great gauntlet. What I'm just saying is, like you said, those three characters are the centerfold of Raw, which then makes it stagnant because Roman's not there and Cody was supposed to not have any of those three guys the main stage, right? I think that's the thing. And that's why I'm like, when we talk about in sports, most valuable, you know what I'm saying? That's really kind of like, it's not necessarily subjective, really. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is valuable to the Chiefs, but I think Lamar Jackson is the most valuable to
his organization.
Exactly.
Not just his team, his organization. Exactly. That's why he's not going anywhere.
And I think I think Cody is kind of, I don't want to compare him to Lamar Jackson, but in the realm of like, I brought him back to be the guy, right? And now we got Lamar Huntley's and Anthony Brown. We got all
that. Hold on with you until he said Cody Rhodes is like Lamar Jackson. I'm not sure he's that valuable.
I mean, I know Seth Rollins ain't Tyron Hunt. I mean, you know what I mean?
Damn, yo.
I'm just saying, nigga, like, damn, bro.
Yo, it's just funny to hear you compare Cody Rhodes to like Lamar Jackson. When
Cody Luther King?
Yo, a year ago this day, if I asked you about Cody Rhodes, you would say Cody Rhodes should retire. You should have said that Cody Rhodes should not be wrestling. And here we are. A year later.
I will be dead ass. I'm gonna be dead ass. It's not AEW, WWE bias. That's not. I'm gonna be honest. It's when he was trying to be both, establish himself as a businessman and try to be both. I'm like, you can't be great at both, right? And I was like, yo, you're a really great, good wrestler, okay? And you're a great good. Listen, you got to be a great good. You created a conglomerate. You got $1 million in deals as far as advertisement. You got your product out there. Like, you sold yourself. You sold your company. You sold your friends. You sold the business. Like you are your daddy's son. Like I can't take that away from him. But Cody is just a performer to me.
Yeah, he's a great performer. Honestly, I wouldn't say he's Lamar kind of performer, but I think I get what you're saying. You know here's where I'll agree with you on. When Cody comes back, Raw will have a jolt of adrenaline. However, if he was here the entire time, we wouldn't feel that way right now about Cody Rhodes unless he had great angles with like a Brock Lesnar along the way, or great angles with Randy Orton along the way. Like
but
if he had those along the way, he would still be hot now. But
but
there's
I
no
think
guarantee.
but that's what I'm saying. That's really the point of what I'm saying is that it's been 6 months. And again, we can blame Roman on that too, because Roman can have feuds with people on Raw. But again, Roman already feuded with Seth. He ain't feuding with motherfucking Austin Theory.
I'm waiting for Bobby and Roman.
And that's
I'm
what
waiting
I'm
for
saying.
that.
Bobby and Roman would have been but that's the thing where I feel like splitting of the titles would have been great to have, because I think Roman would have been detached and we would have been able to have a clear thread of the bloodline. I think we just would have had a clear thread of SmackDown, Sammy, Roman, Usos. I think we just would have had a clear thread.
Here's what I would say about having one champion. If you're gonna have one champion, he should be on a majority of your shows. If he's not gonna be if he's gonna be on one show majority of the time, then yeah, do the two title thing. But I think that's the role of you being the champion. Is like, okay, you're the champion. People are coming to see you, and that's why you are getting paid the most. If you're the John Cena, you're gonna be on Raw. You're gonna be on SmackDown. You're gonna play do house shows. We're paying you to be the flag bearer of this company.
But we can't do that when Brock was champion. That motherfucker ain't do houses. He ain't come.
No,
He ain't do none of that. So
yeah,
we
which
expect
I'm
that
not.
for Roman and you know what I mean.
I'm being real. I'm being real with how I'm not talking about anything that they do. In my opinion, they shouldn't have let Brock leave and be gone without the championship. I don't think that was the wisest decision to do for the rest of the roster. Me personally, I just don't. I don't think they're smart. But obviously they did. They went and did that. But in my opinion, if you're doing the one title, one champion thing, one main dude at the top, he should be on majority of the shows. Like, back in the 90s when you had the Rocks, the Bretts, the Shawn Michaels, the Rocks, Undertakers, Mankind, they were on Raw and SmackDown if they were the champion. Triple H, all that. They weren't just doing one show a week. And sometimes none of the shows a week, depending on what week it is, so it's we're here now, but I'm not sure what the contract, status of these people are. I'm not sure what they want to do as champion or where they see their careers. But if I'm head of creative and I still want to tell a compelling story, but I know that, hey, Roman gets the most eyes and he gets the most money, I'm still going to have him on the books. But if he wants a lighter schedule, I'm like, bro, you gotta drop that title. Like, you can still be champion, but you're in a chase somehow. But you can drop that title. You might get it back again, but like, you gotta drop that title and give it to somebody who can be here on both shows.
But why does he have to be? If we're talking about that's another kind of question when we talk about the mystique of champion, right? Let's kind of combine the two with MJF, right? MJF has been champion, and a lot of people, like you say, a lot of people is going to start complaining about what he's doing as champion and things of that nature. And he's doing the same thing he was doing to get, he wasn't wrestling a ton of matches. I think Roman had defended his title every month or had a match every, right? I think, and again, as a top star, that is my goal.
You know what? And you're right. That's a good argument, because if you are in an angle and you are defending the title every single month against a competitor, do you have to be on both shows? Maybe not, because that's their model. But what I would say is, if I was in charge, it would be my model for you to be on both shows. You might have an angle going on Raw while you have an angle going on SmackDown, and guess what? That angle on Raw, when that angle is finished next month, that angle on SmackDown is going to complete, and then vice versa each and every other month. Essentially,
so you're saying every other month he's having a pay-per-view for every other show, essentially. Every other show's challenger, essentially.
Yeah. We'll be building angles that can be cross-branded in a sense, especially that the bloodline is so big.
Well, let me be honest. Let me be honest, okay? And I know you're saying that, but like,
it could go any way. It was my thoughts of how I would do it, but this is not necessarily the best way.
This is what I'm asking. Bloodline's having a real in-depth feud with Sami Zayn, building a baby face with Sami Zayn, right? Undeniable. how can you then diverge Roman into a hurt business Bobby Lashley type of feud, like something that, like again,
I'll
something
tell you
that
right now, it's easy.
something that makes it, something that's not.
Listen, the bloodline has been running amok on Raw to get under the skin of a KO, and KO's one man. He can't handle all that shit. You got Adam Pearce, who's like, listen, MVP. You guys been, yeah, we need some backup, and MVP, listen, you got to pay us. It's business, And then he goes to Bobby and Seth and Cedric and Shelton, and like, listen, we gotta get the band back together just to defend Raw's honor, and then boom, he comes down.
Finn Raw's honor will be, if it's for the bag, then I'm
I mean,
with
well,
you. I'm spitballing with you.
to
Yeah,
defend
yeah,
the, what I mean, to defend the,
yeah.
we're in the business.
The bag is here to defend
The
Raw.
bag,
You
the
know what
bag
I'm
is
saying?
we
Yeah.
have the bag. We are defending Raw, and then he says, "Oh, Bobby's like, oh, how much you got to pay me to deal with these guys again?" And he's like, and he shows him a little check, and he's like, all right, the game's back together. They come down, they kick ass, they beat Sammy, they beat Solo, they beat the Usos, throw them out the ring, and they're back together. Next week, Roman comes down. Oh, we have Bobby and Roman, boom, face to face. And that's building in the background of the KO going on in the Royal Rumble. And then the next month, February comes, boom, it's the Hurt Business versus the Bloodline en route to WrestleMania. So that's how my mind works with it, hypothetically. But it's the thing that it's just a matter of where you want to go, though, because if they don't feel like that's best business wise to have your champion like they do all that, or Roman is like doesn't want to, I don't know, wrestle or come to Raw or something, whatever, then I don't know what the reason is, but I prefer one champion. And I think that you also, if you're going to do that, have to make that Walter, Intercontinental Championship very, very prominent on their show, which they are doing, and that United States Championship very, very prominent, which they are doing. This week it just wasn't for me because the direction they went, I was like, I think Bobby's beyond that. I think Bobby's beyond the United States, believe it or not, United States Championship. I think his focus should be the Royal Rumble. He doesn't need to be focusing on that championship anymore.
Which was very confusing to me because looking at that pool of challengers, if it was Bobby or Seth, you just like, why? You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly. Only if they were going to give me another match at Royal Rumble. Like, all right, we get one more final, match with, just to wrap it up, and that's cool, but if it's like the next week on Raw, we're going to have Bobby and Austin Theory, I'm like, okay, what? Like, I could do without it, but I guess because I don't know how you win this, how do you let Bobby lose again to Austin Theory and keep him, in momentum for the Royal Rumble, in my mind. So that's why I didn't like the decision. Only thing he can do is win, and then it's like, okay, he's back to where he was months ago. And then you have Brock coming back. Is he facing Brock again? Like, is that still a thing? So I don't know where they're going. We're just gonna have to wait and see.
speaking of the Hurt Business, Cedric Shelton had a match against the Street Profits. I would like to see the Hurt Business be reformed.
Me too. I think it's.
I mean, but not without Cedric and Shelton.
So I can get my freaking shirt back.
I would like to see the Street Profits in the Hurt Business.
What?
I would like to see MVP manage the Street Profits and have them in Hurt Business. And I would like to see MVP, Omos,
you know what?
Street Profits, and Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams as the new Hurt Business.
Okay, that's a little bit much.
It's a force. It's still a force.
Here's what I would reform.
I'm sorry. It's Carmelo's coming up with Trick. We
don't know that. They've already, called people up in the past and left their person down there. Like Legado got called up without, the Carmen
Electra nigga, only Electra Lopez. He came up with the niggas. He came up with the squad. You know what I'm saying?
But that squad have been tag teaming for a minute. They might think that Trick needs some more work. So I don't know. But maybe he comes up with Trick. Here's the thing I'm thinking. And I think if it was just Trips, Maybe he thinks that way because I don't think Triple H would have brought up Hit Row the way that Vince would have, and I think he would have kept them too, active. So maybe he sees a vision with that, but I would keep the Hurt Business the way it is. Bobby, Cedric, Shelton, MVP, and over the course of the next couple of weeks, you have to have MVP approach the Street Profits on like you want to make real profits. Where we're at. I would have Shelton and Cedric beat the Street Profits through nefarious means, this, that, and the fourth, and eventually they're gonna have one last match, and you have MVP turn on Shelton and Cedric. You have him turn on them.
Why would he turn on? That's the thing. Like,
because he got a better tag team. He's like, listen, these guys have been tag team champions.
I know, but
I need it. It's a business. It's like it's not personal. It's just business.
So why would he go through the rigmarole? Shelton,
because that's bringing. First of all, you want to make Shelton. The reason purpose of that is to make Cedric and Shelton a babyface tag team. You want to make them a babyface tag team by getting them sympathy from like having the heel Street Profits, beat them and turning. Go ahead. You have something to say? Go ahead.
As you were talking about, Shelton should have been a United States champion. I didn't.
Oh no, I said he should have got it like a
challenger.
Yeah.
I didn't interrupt you because I wanted to say Cedric needs that. I think their Cedric in Austin Theory is just like Cedric and AJ. Is Cedric and Seth Rollins. Like Cedric and Austin is.
I love Cedric. I think that he couldn't be United States champion one day, but Shelton, where the United States Championship is right now, if Mustafa Ali can't get look competitive in that division, then I don't think they're gonna put Cedric and make him look competitive. It would take a year of rehabilitating, or at least a couple of months of rehabilitating, and getting him on TV as his own character alone, for me to then say, yeah, let's put him against Austin Theory consistently.
That was the whole point. I mean, listen, Mustafa Ali was just in a tag team with fucking Mansoor. You know what I mean? Like, we can't act like that shit doesn't happen all the time. My exactly, and that nigga became a male. Listen, he was such a bad tag team partner that he made that. It's almost like, you know how niggas be like, damn, you made that bitch be a lesbian. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was that. You know what I mean? Like, this thing, like, damn, you made that nigga be a male.
But that was a while. But that was a while ago. And I think that what I'm trying to say is Mustafa Ali is not getting he's not really competing for the United States champion when he's like fodder to Seth and Austin Theory and Bobby along the road. Like, he's getting jobbed out repeatedly to these guys.
That goes back to my point of, what do you think Cedric and Shelton is right now as a tag team? Like, I don't think that they have any steam, any heat, and I think that this is what
you gotta build that, man. But you get that sympathy by having, MVP screw them over. That's what I'm saying.
I think he screws them over by never inviting them back to the Street Profits.
But we already saw them on TV.
That's the point. That's the whole reason why I brought the Street Profits thing up. MVP got into the ring and interfered with the match. My point is that he can't, like, again, I'm around the same thing with you. I don't want them to get the band back together and then turn. I want the band to be reformed when it reforms, right? I want the sympathy to be lied in within. MVP got the Hurt Business back together, and it's not in the incarnation of what we think it is, because we need to have a different version of the Hurt Business. I think that when we look at Bobby,
the Street Profits won the match.
Yes.
So obviously he's looking at them as the Prophet now.
Exactly.
So that's my thing.
Well, I would say this though. I don't. When we say hypotheticals of the Hurt Business and the Bloodline, that's no longer possible. I think right now, when Bobby rejects the event,
I don't think that's no longer possible right now, but in due time you can still.
The reason why I say it's impossible right now is because if MVP is presenting the simple fact of like, yeah, we're gonna get a check, we're gonna get a bag, or whatever the case may be, that quote unquote nostalgia act of the Hurt Business is only again going to be short lived. So why then bring it back if it's going to be killed again, right? If I'm talking about because again, how far can the baby face Hurt Business go? If we talking about no turning, right? Because he still got Omos with him. You know what I mean? How far does a new reincarnation of the Hurt Business go with a babyface Shelton, a babyface Cedric, a babyface Bobby, and
That's not what I
a
was going for.
heel MVP and a very heel Omos?
I'm not trying to make a babyface Hurt Business at all.
It's gonna be a babyface.
I just told you the Street Profits have to join them and turn. So like this is what I'm trying to say. It has to be a exodus of Shelton and Cedric so they can form their own unified front against the Hurt Business. And and that's what I mean. Like if you're gonna bring the Street Profits in, and then on top of that, bring in Carmelo and Trick in, that's gonna make a whole nother dynamic with the Hurt Business where I believe that I prefer Carmelo to stay in NXT for a little bit longer because I need him to win that championship, man. And now maybe if this is like coming like around SummerSlam time, and then they bring him in, and the Street Profits goes back to being babyface somehow between this and that now and then, like we don't really need the Hurt Business anymore, And then we bring in Carmelo and Trick. Then boom, we got replacements for Shelton and Cedric, but with the Street Profits, and then we get replacement for the Street Profits with Carmelo and Trick down the line. And then we
look at us, nigga. The business is always
booming constantly, and you just put them in their suits, they come out together along the way, And I like the fact that it's evolved over time, the group has may change, but the ethos is still the same. You pay us and we beat somebody's ass.
That's fire. That's fire. Mm-hmm. Look at us booking Hurt Business out. I definitely need a heel Street Profits though. I need a heel Montez. I need a heel Angelo Dawkins.
It's about time.
It's definitely about that time.
We haven't had that ever. So it's about time.
Bro, it's all the way about that time. You know what I'm saying? So a heel Street Profits, and then you have a heel Street Profits for about 6 months, and then they go back babyface because come on, Tez, babyface.
I would love to see MVP Street Profits with the tag titles, and Omos backing them up, and then you have Bobby, and Brock at WrestleMania, a heel Bobby versus babyface Brock. And then that was what I would like to see, at WrestleMania.
Well, why we can't have Omos and Bobby at WrestleMania again?
No, they're on the same team now. They're on the same group.
Oh no, I don't. That's what I'm saying. Bobby's a babyface. I don't think
we gotta turn him by the time WrestleMania comes around. So
we can't.
Here we are again.
We can't.
You can do anything you want. This is booking whatever you want.
We can't. We need that.
We've already seen Bobby on the edge after losing. We need that. We don't need that. That's cool, but but he already was on edge after losing to Brock the way he did. We've seen him destroy people since then. And he's like, no, I'm still a good guy. That should be his thing right now. No, I'm still a good guy. I'm still a good guy. Until, the straw that breaks the camel's back and Brock does something, to get his attention again. And he's like, fuck that. The Hurt Business is taking Brock out. We as a group are finishing Brock. I'm done with this Brock thing. And I'm better than Brock. I don't care what anybody says. And if I have to use the Hurt Business to do it, then so be it.
There we have people looking black. The
Hurt Business. All of them. The new age Hurt Business. It's like the new DX.
Yo, is there anything in particular AEW we gotta tackle?
MJF is, he's gonna increasingly get more heel as time goes on, like I said. As we approach the Iron Man match, and he even pretty much said it this week today on Brian. That was a great match with Bandito. Bandito's dope, man. He has some really cool moves too that I didn't really know he was able.
MJF wasn't gonna say no Mexican shit to Bandito.
It would have been repetitive anyway. I didn't expect it. Even if
he is repetitive. What are you talking about?
I mean, come on, you can't do the same thing to Bandito. Um, and then let's see, Tony Storm and Paige turn heel, which makes no fucking sense. It makes no fucking sense. I mean, I don't get it. I mean,
Who's actually baby faces on that roster?
it make the women's division. Y'all need some fucking congruency, man. Your top heel in the women's division. So okay, is Britt Baker and them now babyface? Is that group babyface now?
The Killer and the Pillar.
The Killer and the Pillar. What?
That's who they are. The Killer and the Pillar.
The Killer
Jamie,
and the Pillar.
Jamie Hayler's the Killer. Britt Baker's the
Is the
Pillar.
Pillar. Okay.
The Killer and the Pillar.
This is corny as fuck. But, okay. Okay. The Killer and the Pillar, I guess. Anyway, did we? I didn't watch the whole show. Did we get any Adam Cole this week?
The Killer Pillar.
All right. Moving on. Uh, Top Flight beat the Young Bucks in a good match as well. That she was dope. So it was a good victory for them. They're going to be the top tag team baby faces in a little bit if they aren't already. So Acclaim, watch out. I think they claim me to drop those belts.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's about that time with them, brother.
Great run.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unprecedented run too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, honestly, for real. Ricky Starks, he took out the JAS. He looks great, man. He looks like a star, but I need him to gain some more weight. Whatever MJF did, he might take some time off, and I can buy him more if he's going against Jack Hager with a little bit more weight. And that's just my mind, man. The dude's super talented.
Spear on Brian Cage, and I was like, get the fuck out of
here. If the spear is your move, if you're going with that move set where you're like clothesline niggas and spearing them like you're like this monster, you got to put a little bit more weight on, bro. A little bit, just a little bit, man. Even Montez did that for himself, and he looks more established against other wrestlers bigger than him. But it just helps for the suspense of disbelief when you're in the ring with these guys.
Also, too, like Ricky, like little niggas pop in football, right? So I can't even do the size disparity. Like it's niggas that get it in, pass blocking, run protect, so like niggas do like so, but you ain't that. Like you ain't no motherfucking Darren Sproles where I can know that you put a little bit of licking, you know what I mean? Like, nah, I need a little bit more believability, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, Ricky.
Yeah. And he took them all out.
He's some more steak and potatoes, brother.
Like he did take them all out, like in JS. But the entire time I'm looking at him, like, yeah, this guy is kind of small. But Adam Cole, you know why it works for him? His move set isn't like power moves, so like it's just a little bit different, So, although I think that Adam Cole could do with a little bit more weight on his bones, just so he doesn't get as injured. And I hope that he's doing well with his health. But other than that, there's really nothing to talk about. I want to give props to Braun Strowman on SmackDown for that match with Walter. That was a good match. Really stole the show.
Liv and Raquel. Banger.
Raquel was a banger, honestly. Liv was crazy. So I like that charactership, but she's just like I think that her just being like, a crazy girl, just keep that, just be
crazy white girl. It just fits.
It just fits. I mean, you're from Jersey. There's a lot of crazy. She's from Jersey. There's a lot of crazy ass white girls in Jersey.
Absolutely.
Just dive into that.
Yo, it would have been spot on if like Liv was just a drunk. You know what I'm saying? Like a drunk white Jersey girl that just is violent. Oh, that's such a relatable.
Jumping off shit like
that's such a relatable. I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, yo. So I'm with it, but I'm looking forward to the Royal Rumble. We'll see what goes on Raw on this ceremony. Those are the two things that I'm looking forward to. I'm not sure what the next week of Dynamite and Rampage will be because I have to look that up. But they're simmering. We'll see.
Absolutely, man. We said that we was going to keep it under 2 hours, and guess what? We will. We will not. One thing I do want to get out of here on the podcast on audio. As I said, we beat the shit out of Tom Brady, but there are rumors, speculatory scuttlebutt,
Oh God.
that Tom Brady could possibly join your beloved.
No, God, can you
New York
please?
Jets.
This is not pod content because it's not happening. Fuck that dude.
I just
So
want
he ain't coming to the Jets. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all right now what's gonna happen. Lamar's getting re-signed by Baltimore Ravens. Aaron Rodgers is probably gonna stay with Green Bay. If he does get traded, the other team that takes him is gonna just give up a lot of money for him because honestly his contract is ridiculous. The Jets are getting Derek Carr, man, and this Tom Brady rumor is bullshit. I get it. They want to bring him back to the AFC East, go against Belichick. Oh, it's a good story. Dude needs to retire, bro. And Jets fans don't want you. So I think that's what the big story is. We don't want you. You can go to Miami.
well,
We don't mind facing you again.
are you speaking just for you?
I'm being free for everybody. Think for all of us,
Hold
all
on.
us Jets
If
fans.
you're telling me if the New York Jets had Tom
Yes.
Brady, you don't think you guys won the Super Bowl? Yes or no?
I'm not watching the games. I'm not watching the games. I'm done. I'm done. We don't win a Super Bowl. No, we don't, because the dude, he's not the same Tom Brady, anyways. So, yeah,
Are you fucking shitting me?
I am not shitting you.
Bro, Tom Brady these last 2 seasons has thrown more passes and touchdowns than any quarterback you've had in 10 years. Like,
Don't want him. Don't want him. I'd rather lose without him than win with him. No,
wow, that's
it would taint my entire experience of watching football. Honestly, I've been rooting against this guy.
I wish
for-
Rich was here so I can ask him if Michael Jordan played for the Knicks, would he want him? Because I know as a Chicago Bulls and like that's a rivalry. Chicago Bulls like beat Michael Jordan will beat, but I'm telling you, the Knicks will want Michael Jordan. The Jets should want the Michael Jordan of football. Like, what are you talking about?
I said no, so that can't happen. Sorry. Go to Washington. Go to Miami. Go to the Raiders. The Raiders, yeah, Devontae's over there. So yeah, no.
Wow.
Actually, he should just retire. Go home.
Yo, what I was trying to
Go be with your
him
kids.
is that this nigga actually said that he would rather have Jacoby Brissett than Tom Brady. But I
Facts.
couldn't get him into saying it out his mouth. But that's what he was saying on the phone. This nigga said that he would rather have Jacoby Brissett than to have Tom.
Jacoby Brissett's a good quarterback, man. And a good defense. You can go some places.
Before we get out of here, business and logic. Let me play this for you. I'm gonna mute myself. This is an excerpt from Tony Khan with Bill Simmons, and this is a little excerpt on his podcast.
I wish we got Lamar Jackson though, man, because Brees Hall and Lamar Jackson will be crazy. But looks like the Ravens ain't letting that guy go. And why would they?
I'm sorry, you said something, bro. My bad. You said something.
No, I'm waiting for you. I was just talking.
Oh, you didn't hear
football.
it? Wait,
No.
you didn't hear?
Oh shit! I was playing it this whole time.
No, we can't hear shit, dog.
Oh, hold on.
That was
hold
all
on.
dead air.
Damn. So you can't hear this? Hold on.
Okay. Can't hear nothing.
You hear that? You can't hear that? All right, give me 1 second. Let me fix that. Hold on. Let me fix that. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me still?
I
Can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. I can't hear the video
All
or
right.
the audio.
That's fucking weird. Why can't you? All right. Let's get this. Let's figure this out. Cause I was playing it and I was even playing it in my microphone. Like I was putting my microphone to the computer and everything, man. Like damn. All right. That sucks. Uh
Balloons are deflated.
all right. Let me hold on. All right, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right.
Andre, you got
Can you hear
one
my
recurring theme with Vince's career was that he kept having a challenger, or there kept being these moments where it seemed like things might fall apart, and then they didn't. And in the last couple of years, you had AEW. They come in as probably the most polished challenger you guys have had in 20 years. They kind of countered it a little bit. They grabbed some ECW pieces and some indie wrestling things and some All Japan, all this stuff. And it seemed like a real competitor. It seemed like they had, at least in the wrestling community of the nerds and the people who love the 5-star matches, all that stuff, they kind of tapped into that. At what point did you feel like they were a threat?
Well, how do you think they're doing now?
Not as well.
I think a couple things. I've never met the guy.
Although I think they're having a better 2023 than 22. But anyway, go
I think I've never met the kid. Tony Khan seems like a nice kid to me. I don't know him. I have met his dad, who randomly I sat next to at some like sports business luncheon that Stephanie and I went to a year and a half or so ago. I thought the dad was as impressive as could be. I think there was a piece on him in the New York Times a year or so prior to that. Self-made billionaire, I believe Pakistani immigrant, could not be more impressed with him. I like the pivots. I'm not as big of an NFL fan as you are. I don't follow it the way you do. But I like the pivots he made. You make a mistake in hiring a certain coach a couple years ago, get out of that mistake, figure it out again.
Yeah.
So could not be more impressed with the dad. He made his money in the auto parts business, I believe. So he knows that inside out. I don't believe he's involved on the wrestling side of the business. I'm talking about storylines outside of financing it.
No, he's got just the pockets.
Yeah, he has the pockets, and that's awesome. And I'm sure his kid appreciates it. But I was never threatened by that. But I tend not to be threatened. I don't feel threatened by anyone on anything. It's just not how I do business. So I don't mean like,
No, I get you.
right. If some guy came up to me with a rattlesnake in my face, yeah, I guess I'd feel threatened by that. But I think similar to you, Bill, I've never seen you scared. I just don't think you see people that way. I don't think when you were on your rise as primarily a writer at that time, I think you probably put targets on certain people who you thought held an esteemed position who didn't deserve that position.
Yeah.
And then you overtook them with your work. But it all came down to your work, not their work. So for me, and I know I've used the quote before, it's that Jimmy Iovine, I think it's at the end of that Dr. Dre, Jimmy Iovine documentary on HBO, where he says, you know, in your career, you got to be like a horse. A horse, you put blinders on it. Why do you put blinders on it? Horse looks to the left, looks to the right, stumbles, it breaks its leg, and you know what happens after that. I've always looked at business the same way. I don't care what anyone else is doing. I care what we're doing. And as long as we can have the best product on with the best talent and the best writers, I think we're going to be in good shape.
Competition is good too, I think.
Yeah, by the
Especially for what you're doing.
It's what the country was built on.
Yeah.
Not to get too patriotic on this stuff, but it's why antitrust laws exist. It's why there's Pepsi to Coke or whatever the modern version of that reference is. Everyone should be able to give it a try. I do think anyone can run a business at a loss. That's easy.
Yeah.
As long as someone continues to finance it, try running it.
Are you saying that's AEW?
I don't know. I don't know their books. I haven't seen their books.
They
But
have spent a lot of money.
Look, I know our books, which are public, we're off highest grossing revenue in 2022, highest profitability in 2022, other big factors on why Vince wants to explore a potential alternative now.
And you took Cody Rhodes from them.
How did you like that one?
I liked it until he got hurt.
Yeah.
That was a tough break, but he's coming back soon, I assume.
He's coming back.
Yeah.
Text with him often. He's feeling good.
Do you think he was going to become the guy last year in the company other than Roman?
It certainly felt he was heading in that direction. And now we'll see. It's announced that he's returning at the Royal Rumble.
Right.
So obviously that's not a secret. We wanted it to be announced. We want people to know that. By the way, Royal Rumble coming up in a couple weeks, our highest grossing Royal Rumble ever already, with still 2 weeks to go.
What's the location?
San Antonio, Texas. January 27th, which is a Saturday. It's the night before the NFC AFC Conference Championship.
Are the rumors true that The Rock is going to be at WrestleMania?
I can't confirm.
You can't confirm?
Can't confirm or deny any of those. The good thing is for Rock,
Liberace won't be there though. That's
Liberace will not be there.
We've already.
So that was
First, I just want to comment on why is our algorithm recommending that we follow OnlyFans?
Listen,
What the fuck?
I have no idea.
Anyways, Nick Khan,
that was brought to you by the Bill Simmons podcast. Just want to give a quick shout out so they don't come after us litigiously. Bill Simmons, great at what he does, great at what he do. Was able to fucking land the big fish in Nick Khan. So, what did you think about that? How do you feel about that? And
it goes back to what I was saying earlier about putting your head down and working and like not really looking at the competition. Because if you do that and you just focus hard on what you got, you're gonna be all right. I think you can be, now, you can look at other people and get influence and get inspiration, which I always say, get inspiration and be aware. But he kind of big broed him. I'm the big con here, so he's like, listen, he's like, I don't really know the kid. I keep calling him a kid. Like, it's just like, and I rightfully so. He's an older man. He's been in the business for a while. He respects his father and what he's done with Jaguars. But from what I take from that is his approach is about focusing on what they're doing and they're doing alone. And I like that. I like the way he thinks. The sale, though, there's obviously the rumors are true. They're gonna sell. He's here to approach a sale for WWE, which is crazy. Why
is it crazy? Why is it crazy?
Which is crazy because, like, in my lifetime, it's not crazy, put it that way, but like it's surprising to a wrestling fan who's only seen WWE run by Vince McMahon. So like we're here. Like it's a monumental day and age, put it that way. But this might be their last WrestleMania that Vince McMahon owns WWE. Think about that. That's big.
I mean, yes and no. If Vince can still sell, make a profit, get the largest selling, he don't even have to sell WWE. My nigga can just come in and sell the media rights.
He's done that. Like, he's done that with Peacock. Like, it's not the same thing that's going on right now. It's just different.
You can say that, but wrestling, he has the contract for his media rights as the NFL, as the NBA, right? ESPN pays $1.2 billion for Monday Night Football. Fox paid $1 billion for SmackDown, right? So now when we're talking about those situations, and now let's look at the evaluation of what the stock market was. Shit, when he got kicked out 2 weeks ago,
$6.5 billion is the evaluation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you telling me that including the media rights and everything that's involved, that's not an $8 billion sale, right? Like, I mean, I understand what you're saying is that like you thought that never in your lifetime you wouldn't see it, but like never in your lifetime did you know that wrestling would be as profitable as it
Dude, I
is.
get it. I get it. I get your cynical response to me saying it. I'm just telling you that, hey, surprising. That's all. I'm just, man, we're here. I'm just taking it in for a moment. God damn. Like I'm not
No,
debating with you.
I'm not. I'm
I
just.
know it sounds.
I mean, you're. I mean, you're like you're surprised and like it's a sale. I'm like, yeah. When Nick Khan got hired 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I told you he hired a shark. So it's not a surprise to me. I mean, like I'm the one who presented like, yo, Nick Khan is a shark.
A
Like,
shark for not selling the company per se, a shark for how to run the business of the company, which is what he's proven to be. And we knew that when he came in, but it's not like Nick Khan got like signed and we already automatically, oh, they're definitely going to sell. Like that's not what we thought. That's not what we thought. Hey, maybe possibility, but we thought, hey, maybe down the line, and here we are. But like this is happening quickly, and I think a majority of it is because he got pushed out of of his CEO spot. I think that's what I think that is. I think he had time to think about it. Like, listen, all right, I've been thinking about this. I thought about it. Now I want to sell. And he has the right to do whatever he wants. But you know, from what we heard, I think that's the first time I've heard Nick Khan address that. And I think that what I took from that conversation is that this sale is impending. It looks like by the end of this year, Vince McMahon could possibly not be owning WWE, and we don't know who will.
I think with that being said, over the course of that time, I think we saw the evolution of capitalism, right? And also we also have saw the evolution of evaluation. Again, I'm in that right. I bought a house, and I can tell you, man, the price of wood inflated to where it made the price of my home inflate. Right. I'm also looking at sports franchises and the likes. It's not apples to apples, but like we are seeing the greedy get greedier. And I understand you're saying like, yeah, we didn't understand immediate sales, but yeah, we were talking Disney 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like we were 2 years ago, we were saying like, could he sell 2 years ago? You know what I'm saying? And like, and again, in 2 years, he's evaluated his business upwards a couple billion. You know what I mean? Again, if he's talking about we hitting record numbers in 2022, I can tell you right now, we was a part of him. He was the reason why DeSantis came. He was the reason we as fans is the reason why he was able to go to DeSantis, the governor of Florida, and say, listen, if you let us open the doors, they will come. And when they come, we will pay money. And when we pay money, we'll pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? Like, ultimately, we've raised the stake of the business by us loving that motherfucker so much. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the intuitiveness to sell is because we raised we at WrestleMania, we bought tickets, we bought cups, we bought food. Like, we are the reason why that this nigga can come back and be like, yeah, it's hotter than it's ever been, motherfucker. Let's drop the fish in this grease. It's time to go. It's time. It's time. It's time to have the fish fry, because at no other point in time was it this realistic that Vince could be, like you said, Walt Disney sold its Walt Disney is Walt Disney. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? They can sell when compartmentalized and shit like that and sell parts off, but they're still them. I think if WWE sells, and even if Vince isn't the owner, but he sells and be able to get the fucking control still and have the and still be able to influence wrestling, it's not gonna be no different. And Vince gonna be $10 billion richer. You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
a sell means he doesn't own it. I mean, that's all. It doesn't mean he doesn't own the
I mean,
company.
Dana White doesn't own UFC still,
UFC
but
now, yeah.
I mean, but he still owns UFC, right? So like,
He's like a president or something like that of the company.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. Like
he
he's
doesn't own it. I mean, I'm just talking about ownership, and that's a huge shift in uh, the structure of the professional wrestling industry. Even if he's going to be CEO, it just completely shifts the landscape, because whoever is going to be owning the WWE controls the biggest professional wrestling company in the world and necessarily kind of the culture of professional wrestling in the world. So it's
but I want to get your. I don't want to stay too long. But how would it change if he doesn't own it but still has control of it? Right? If I like let's use the Dana White. Right? Dana White doesn't own UFC. He does, but he still doesn't have bosses. Right? He just slapped it. He just not to he doesn't respond to anybody, and he still has the power as if he owns it. So if Vince McMahon sells it and still has the Dana White situation, he still has that power.
we'll see what happens.
It.
I don't know what's gonna happen. We'll see. That's all I'm gonna say. We'll see, because I don't know how Dana White's setup is. I'm not sure how it came into that agreement. I'm not sure if Vince will have the same, and if it's not Vince, I still don't want him controlling it anyways. So hopefully it's Trips, and so we'll see. But it is to say that like the money that they bring in for WWE and going to the McMahons right now, is gonna be it's a big shift in the landscape. That's all it is. And the players who do take control of it talk about it, man. Money talks. So like it's a matter of the UFC right now. Dana has control, whatever. He only sold it like maybe a year or two ago. We're very early in him selling that. I'm talking about for the rest of the next decade moving forward. Is UFC going to be the same? As far as a culture of what the UFC was under Dana's vision, it's not. There's no way because the companies are going to be in conflict that owns it. They're going to have their own deals, making their own deals on what they use their content for.
I think to use the sports analogy to continue this because everything is wrestling. Mm-hmm. If Vince doesn't have the same deal as Dana, why sell? Just like Lamar Jackson, if I don't get the same contract as Deshaun Watson, why sign? And I don't give a fuck what the previous shit is. I have a precedent now. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a precedent now. And I understand what you're saying. But again, Dana still don't pay his fighters. He still get 80% of the fucking endorsement deal. Like dead ass. Dana White brags about having $1 million fucking credit at a casino when he pays his fighters $50,000 to get their shit beat in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and then he has the slap fighting thing too. What the fuck is that?
This is what I'm saying. So if Vince is like, I want what he got. I want exactly what he would. You get, and that's my thing because
Dana, Vince, I don't necessarily like that kind of way of thinking. They're the same. I don't like the way of like, let me just get my money and screw over other people. But at the end of the day, this is what we paid, this is what we watch,
and that's the only reason why I bring it up, because when you're like, if it's gonna change, that's why I'm not fighting back, and like I know it will be, but again, they're already publicly traded still. So if they sell to somebody publicly traded, things won't necessarily change in that aspect.
Yeah,
I think what really will change is if they sell and go back private. Now that will be the real shift in Swift, because I think a privately owned wrestling company is when you really have the freedom to do what you want. I think
exactly. So I'm waiting. That's why I said we'll wait.
You know what I'm saying that's
wait and see. But the fact of the matter is, by the end of 2023, 2024 comes around, Vince McMahon ain't gonna be the one making the decisions on what they do with the content, and that's huge. And if you don't think so, it is. And maybe they'll put him in a CEO role, and maybe he is. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I think Vince will. If Vince was able to get forced out and then have the litigious whereabout to force himself back in, I think honestly, and not being cynical, I'm not trying to fight back with you. I do agree with you. By the end of this year, Vince will not be the person that signs checks. Vince will still be the person that assigns checks. I don't believe that he will.
So Vince will be Eric Bischoff by the end of this year, bringing it full circle.
I mean, Tony Khan is the real Bischoff right now, but yeah, man, no, man, I still think
Okay.
no, okay, it's hard for me to say. I think Vince is Dana White, and I think Tony Khan is Eric Bischoff. I do think that there is money that right the buyout and the money that is behind Tony Khan and Eric Bischoff.
But you said that's signing checks. Like that's what they're doing. They're both doing that.
I think Dana
They're
White
not
is
the one.
checks. He doesn't sign the checks. He's not who own. He's not
Exactly. He's assigning the checks, just like Eric Bischoff. You said before, he was assigning the check.
So you
So
think-
they're all Eric Bischoff.
okay. All right.
If you're saying that, that's what you meant, you know. But
I do.
yeah.
I think Vince at the end of the year, he will go where it's going to be. He won't, and that's the thing, because he's not a sports franchise where a sports franchise has to sell to the highest bidder, right? It's not Daniel Snyder. Daniel Snyder is going to have to sell to Jeff Bezos because Jeff Bezos is going to be the highest bidder. Daniel Snyder is not going to be able to sell anybody lower because he don't want to sell to Jeff Bezos, and that will be the new benchmark for franchises. I think in this case, Vince will sell to the highest bidder that will give him the most amount of control. I don't think he cares about being public or private because he's done it both ways.
Yeah.
I do think Vince wants back in having control.
Honestly, I think he would probably want it to be private more than anything, because all the shit he's doing with those stockholders right now, he's getting sued left and right at this bitch, yo. Like, so he's like, yo, these motherfuckers, yo. Like, I had my plan set already. Like, you already hatched the plan to sell this joint. Like, not so fast. Not so fast. We putting a class action lawsuit on your ass right away.
I ain't gonna hold you, nigga. I got 2 measly ass shares. Sell it to whoever the fuck you got to, brother. You know.
Give me my dividends, bro.
Nigga quadruple 1,000x my motherfucking return.
It's like from $70 to $300. Yeah. Oh Lord, yo.
Yo,
This is
I'm not
epic.
gonna hold you, nigga. Vince might turn my little $47 into $1,700, nigga, and I'm gonna be like, "Thank you very much." Thank you very
Oh,
much.
if it is 1,700, that's dope, man. I don't think it's gonna be that much, but we'll see. I mean, it could happen. It could happen.
Yeah, but depends on how many billions this motherfucker.
Yeah, how many billions?
Oh,
But
man. Man, yeah. Thank you
that's
guys.
it, man. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's it, man. That's it, yo. Reasonable Wrestling got you a little bit of sports talk. Everything is wrestling. Check out
All love. Everything is
EIWshop.com.
wrestling. Check out EIWshop.com to get your rumbling hoodie. EIWshop.com. And once again, rest in peace, Jamie Pugh.
Peace out.